All right, now to last night's NBA action where the New York Knicks earned a come-from-behind overtime win over the Memphis Grizzlies, 133-129. The Knicks had 6 players in double figures, led by 20 apiece from R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. The Knicks leaned on their bench to the tune of 72 points, and they avoided their third straight loss. The Grizzlies led from almost start to finish, but poor free throw shooting helped snap their 4-game winning streak. John Morant scored a game-high 26 points, but his floater at the regulation buzzer rimmed out, allowing the Knicks to earn the win in overtime. Both teams remain in the 8th seed in their respective conferences. Okay, Drink, do you think this was more about the Knicks winning this game, or did Memphis blow
it? I think Memphis did blow this game, but I want to give Knicks the credit of coming back, doing what they had to do, grind it out, playing good defense, and just being the team that they are to pull this out. There's nothing glamorous about the Knicks unless you're a defensive guy and you're like, okay. With that said, this was a hell of a game. So I want to give them credit on the game itself. It was a hell of a game. But this game is the ultimate measuring stick for me as far as the East and West. When people try to convince you or I that the East has caught up with the West, this, that, and the third, I look at this and I say, look at these two teams, right? Look at these two 8 seeds. If you don't even look at the stats, which 8 seed you think got a winning record and which 8 seed you think got a losing record? And why does that matter? Because it's going to be hard to convince people that a conference where a team with a losing record can make the playoffs, and then a conference where the team got to have a winning record to make the playoffs. You would say the conference with the winning record is the better conference. That's why I just think most people will agree to if you're just having a conversation. So I thought this game was a good barometer for that. I want to give a shout out to my boy Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Rose turned back the hand of time last night for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? He actually kept them in the game for a good portion of the game. Let's keep it real. They were struggling to score. Derrick Rose he was having timely baskets. I ain't saying he was going off looking vintage, but he had. I thought he controlled the pace of the game for a good portion of the game. In that first half where he was kind of keeping them alive. I like what he was doing. I like how he was, controlling the pace of the game, like I said. Especially when you don't have your top guys, Randall, Barrett, they're not, doing a whole lot. I don't know. What's the deal with this guy, Obi Toppin? I don't know. He was their top pick, and he comes in sporadically and then he does something spectacular. Then he's back out of the game again. And I don't know. I don't understand what their plan is with Obi Toppin. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, maybe he's just massively undeveloped. I don't know. But for him to go as high as he went in the draft, he is like a mystery over there. But when he do come in, he'll give you something. He'll give you at least one Sports Center top 10 play. Yeah. And then he rides off in the sunset. And then the Grizzlies. Look, Morant, he had a chance to win the game. He missed that shot, which was a good shot. I thought it was going to go in. I did see it spin out a little bit, but I thought ultimately it was going to fall in. It comes out. They had a chance at the putback as well and didn't really get that putback. And then we go into overtime, and the rest is history. I would say this about Memphis. I had kind of chalked Memphis up. I was kind of I'm over this. I don't even think they're going to be nowhere in the conversation. I stand corrected. I owe them an apology. They're sitting in the 8th seed. You only got to be in the 10th seed to make the play-in tournament. So for all purposes, it looked like Memphis is going to be around to have something to say about that 8th seed when it's all said and done. Because the scenarios we're going to talk about in the next segment. But at the end of the day, I look at this. Memphis definitely blew this game. Memphis had played their way. They was controlling majority of the pace of the game, and they let the Knicks come back and take this game from them without even the best performance from their best player. I thought they did it down the stretch defensively. Look, I looked at a stat the other day. I know the Knicks ain't the most popular talked about team in the NBA right now, but I'm going to tell you like this. Thibodeau is doing something with their defense. I would take this team defense over a lot of other teams that we do talk about a lot. Like I would take the Knicks defense over the Boston Celtics offense, and like, I really would. I understand. Listen, Tatum went off for 50. Oh, congratulations! I'm glad you finally figured out what you was doing right last year and what you was doing wrong this year. But either way, the Knicks defense, game in and game out, seems to show up. Okay, I see, 129 points, but that's overtime, that's everything included. I really like what they do on the defense side of the ball. They just need a lot more help on the offense. I mean, a good significant amount. I don't know if they got enough clearly on the offense, but I like what they seen. Grizzlies, they just got to get back in the mode of things. Can we get a healthy Grizzlies team? Can we get the core of the Grizzlies healthy at the same time so we can clearly see what we got over there? Because it's very hard to make a depiction because they're always missing a key part. But to answer your question, sorry, my throat getting a little dry in between. But to answer your question, the Grizzlies let it go. They should have won the game. The Knicks showed tremendous heart, tremendous defense. And I like to see that. But, yes, the Grizzlies lost this game. And I think this shows how much better the West is than the East when you just compare the 8 seeds. Just the 8 seeds. We ain't even going to talk about the top seeds. Just look at the bottom seeds. It kind of show you that there's levels to it. But, yeah, the Grizzlies definitely lost this game last night.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. And I normally in a question like this, I try to give the team that won the game all the credit in the world. But I do agree. I think Memphis let this one get away. Memphis led this game from basically start to finish. And after Valanciunas had that dunk that regave him a 6-point lead, it looked like that was going to be it. But Julius Randle gets an immediate and one. He had some free throw things that happened. But I mean, this is kind of feels like I think we've done now 3 Knicks games, and it seems like this is all 3 games have went like this. The Knicks seem to be in terms of the talent pool, they're a little bit under talented, I should say, but they get down, but they don't quit. They keep clawing back, they keep battling, and in this game they got over the hump. And a couple breaks went their way. I thought that John Morant shot was going to go down.
I really thought that was going to go down.
And but got to give them all the credit in the world. And this should be something that I think Tom Thibodeau can be encouraged about, because I think he's not going to be pleased with the 50% shooting from the Grizzlies and the 129 points, even though it was overtime, but still was at 114 regulation, something other. So he's not going to be pleased with that. But on the silver lining is you can use this as a way to say, hey, look, guys, we can win in another way. We can score too. It was a very balanced scoring effort. Nobody had more than 20. The bench was fantastic. I thought Derrick Rose kept him in the game in the first half, not so much in the second half. That was when you had more of Quickly and more of Alec Burks. Right. But I mean, it's a great performance by the Knicks. Memphis, I thought throughout the game, their free throw shooting wasn't very good. You also had some really costly turnovers at times. I think in the end for Memphis, it's going to come down to Jaren Jackson Jr. And that's going to give us, really an accurate view of who they are and how good they can be and what kind of threat they'll be if they can, as it looks like now, it looks like they'll be in the play-in. But if they can survive the play-in, Jaren Jackson comes back later end of the month, they get him in there, and we should have a more accurate depiction of what they'll be. And I do think this, even though it was in a losing effort, but you lead the game start to finish. I still think, much like when we talked about Dallas, the Mavericks and the Knicks, I think Memphis, even right now, they're a little bit better than the Knicks, and it does speak to what we talked about, the West being a little bit better than the East, especially when you get through the top 3 teams. I think top 3 teams, you can make a great case that the East has an advantage over the West, but the East just doesn't have the quality depth. I don't know. Thanks. Probably can thank teams like Boston, Miami for underachieving so far. But I think I also get the feeling that I know John Morant was pretty good last night, but I don't know something about Morant's game. I just every time I watch him, I feel a little like I didn't get enough. Like I don't think I've seen the best of John Morant when I watch him. But it doesn't. I don't think it matters because I'm always looking at Memphis and comparing them to New Orleans. Memphis is still 3 spots above New Orleans. New Orleans still flopping around. They beat Philly last night. I don't know what that was about, but we know they're just as capable to losing to Minnesota or Houston or whoever else they play tomorrow night. So just inconsistencies all around. But yes, in the end, I think I do think Memphis let this one get away, or excuse me, the Knicks.